everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel. It is Sunday, January 16, 2022. I am very stunned of what I just saw, guys. Let me just tell you something. We all know, we Christian, Christ-believing people, we know we're living in the last days, right? And there's nothing more frustrating when you see Christ-believing people also as though nothing is happening, completely ignoring everything. You know, all of the sermons at the church is about Disneyland and copying Disney's stories to create it into a sermon, and also using a lot of worldly music to kind of, they always say, to attract the young generation, things like that. It is frustrating because you would think a Christ believing and like another group of Christ believing people will also back you up when you take a stand for Christ. And I guess I can speak for myself when I do New Year Fashion Week and I'm using Bible verses and things like that. You think other Christ believing people will be like, yes, let's do that, let's use our media, whatever outlet we have to share the gospel. And what I had found in my personal experience is the fact that I get the less support from Christ believing people. And throughout the years, what I discovered is that, believe it or not, there are people out there who are just Christians on Sunday and they don't want anybody else around them to know. And it's important for me to start by saying this, it's frustrating to see the church the way it has come. A couple years back, we saw the church of, I think it's called Hillsong Church, in New York, right? They had the big fallout with their pastor. We have a lot of churches, nobody's perfect, like the churches are not perfect, but I always speak about influence, right? And everything you do will kind of like have a domino effect on everybody who attends your church and people that follow you on social media. You're gonna hear my heater come up in just a little bit. So the reason that I'm speaking about that, before I go to this video that I have for you to take a look at, it is sad, it's frustrating, and you would think that because we're living in the last days, the church should be more ready, united, and standing by the word of God. And yes, we're living in the last days. Everything points to that. But when you turn that page and look at the church and see if the church actually looks like the last days, it's kind of scary because we are so not ready. And the reason I say that is like God is coming back for the bride. And the way the world and the culture has taken over the Christian church these days is scary, guys. It is scary that the sermon has to be about living your best life, and it's about just gaining material things, do your inspirational board to get success, put on a board what you want, and, to get everything that God speaks about in the Bible, that you shouldn't be building, fortune on earth. But there's a lot of churches out there, especially beginning of the year, especially this month in January, that they will speak to you about creating an inspirational board and putting the big house, the car that you want. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see people just call themselves Christians and completely just not going for that. I'm not saying I'm perfect, nothing like that, but anyways, this pastor, he comes a lot on my feed on Instagram, and he comes a lot on TikTok. His name is Mike Todd, right? And he is trending as I'm speaking right now, and I'm sorry to make this intro so long, but he's trending right now because on his sermon today, Sunday, he decided, okay, because let me just tell you, because the world knows that something's up. People who perhaps never open up a Bible before in their life, they know something's going on in this world. Okay, the fact that you have to, your freedom is being taken away before your eyes, and things are not making sense, yet people are still going for it. there are people out there who's seeking the truth, right? And what this pastor did, and he's not trying to open a blind man's eye, nothing like that. He's not, this guy that he had on stage is not blind. So I'm trying to understand the reasoning behind it, okay? And the reason that I'm talking about Mike Todd, I think his church is called Transformation Church. This is what gives the gospel and the Church of Christ a bad name. Okay, not only do we have churches right now who are using Disney stories to create a sermon, okay, because they want to be so part of this world so bad that they have to use Disney stories to create a sermon, and they have to participate during Fall Fest and give out candy and get everybody in there all dressed up in costume because, you know, we want to do it for the kids, you know, we want to do the Easter Bunny for the kids. And slowly but surely they're more and more getting themselves away from the Bible, right? And then this pastor during the pandemic, okay, don't forget that we're living through a pandemic, okay, and social distances is being required, wearing the covering is being required, everything else after that came after that, it is being required, in some places mandatory, okay. And people these days are looking to go viral more than anything, okay. And you know what I'm saying, like, one thing is to go viral for something that is the truth to you, that you want to speak to people about Christ. But when you want to, this is basically giving the church a bad name. But the video that I'm going to show you guys is giving the church a bad name, okay? And the same thing, a couple months ago I came here and told you guys what happened at Joel Osteen's church, and that money that was found in the bathroom. And there's not going to be one leader who will speak about it. There's not going to be a church leader who will speak about it, because Joel Osteen's a best-selling author. Live your best life, right? We cannot, well, let's not even talk about Joel Osteen. What are they doing with the money in the bathroom? You know, he doesn't know anything about that. It's your own church. You have security, one of the biggest mega churches in the country, and nobody knew that people were hiding money behind the wall. And there was the way they were being stacked and the amount of money it was. But anyways, there's no leadership in the Christ community that's gonna come up and call people out and help people accountable, right? But anyways, okay, because these days fame is everything, right? Whoever, if you have 3 million followers, nobody will want to say anything negative about you, regardless if they see it or not. But back to Mike Todd and Transformation Church. So he's trending right now, and of course people who don't believe in Christ are gonna trash it to the ground, and that is the last thing we want, because we're putting ourselves out there. You know, I'm speaking with myself and using fashion to share the gospel. When people see something like that happening at a church, you think they really want to go and be like, oh yeah, tell me more about your God and Jesus. I want to learn more. This is what is showing to them in the sermon. So Mike Todd, during a pandemic, just today, about a couple hours ago, he decided to bring somebody on stage. I don't have the whole sermon, but he decided to bring somebody on stage and spit on his own hand, Mike Todd's hand. And you know, when Jesus is healing this blind man, he used that to speak about having crazy faith. And then he proceeded to put his spit on this guy's face, and you can see the spit dripping. Okay, and it is crazy to me, because there's something called you know, you have to have some type of wisdom as a leader of a church to be like, wait a second, you know, maybe that would be the wrong analogy to use, especially I'm not trying to heal somebody's eyes, right? I'm not trying to heal somebody from being blind, nothing like that. But no, he decided to go ahead and do it. Okay, and to be honest, when I saw the video, it's very disgusting. And I also felt like the person that he brought in there, he felt some type of you can tell he's a little uncomfortable, because one thing that pastors do when they're preaching is a lot of them ask for volunteers, right? Imagine you're raising, you say, yeah, I'll help my pastor, and then this is what he's planning on doing. But from what I see, the guy looks a little uncomfortable, but I still think that there's more to this than what we see, okay? I feel like this not only could have been planned, but you know, it's so crazy, and I have to be careful what I say, but I feel like this is some type of humiliation thing, and that's what people do to initiate somebody into this whole secret society. I'm just gonna leave it there. I have to be careful what I say here, but this is the stuff that came to my head when I watched it. Let me know what you guys think. Here's the video. I don't want to say anymore. God bless everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and share.
Changing something and you don't see it clearly yet, but you hear. And this is where most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away. What I'm telling you is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming, God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty? I'm going to say it in a point just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. You mean, God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car. And now you're going to ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again? Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you, it might get nasty. And do you hear and see the responses of the people? What I'm telling you is how you just reacted is how the people in your life will react when God is doing what it takes for the miracle. What are you saying? This man was blind, and what he was trying to do with this man is give him his DNA.
Thanks for coming back to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.